My name is Tony Vittorio, and I go by, I think, Coach V. So I was born in Indianapolis and immediately moved to New Jersey when I was about 6 months old, but then we came back to Indianapolis when I was 3 years old, and my parents bought a house on Anniston Drive right across the street from Southport Little League. So the Little League ballpark was our home, second home. And so it was our neighborhood against your neighborhood. We met at the ballpark without parents there, so we actually learned how to compete and we learned leadership skills and those type of things without parents being around during the day. And then obviously in practice and in games, we had our parents and our coaches with us. So I was very fortunate, not only at that Little League, Southport Little League at the time was a very prominent Little League. You know, they went to the Little League World Series in 1984. We actually had a coach that would coach the All-Star team named Coach Cavanaugh, that if you were fortunate to make the All-Star team, right, he was a third shift factory worker. So they dropped you off, your parents dropped you off. Of course, I walked across the street, but at the ballpark, and you actually practiced from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day with your all-star team, right? Just with the players and the coaches, right? So that was a huge influence on me is the Little League coaches that I had. We didn't know it at the time, but they were really well advanced compared to most Little League coaches. Coach Cavanaugh, Coach Kirkhoff, obviously my dad was huge in the inspirational part of that too as well, but I can keep going on the people that I played for when I was growing up. When I was 15 years old and was fortunate to make this senior league all-star team at Southport Little League, I played for Coach Jeff Mercer. Coach Mercer is the father of Indiana's coach now. Jeff, I call him Jeffrey Mercer, but he was a 21-year-old player from Marion University, and he was coaching at the time, and he got the all-star team. And I walked across the street for my first practice, and he was well ahead of his times, right? There was a lot of structure, organization, drills going on. And after that first practice, I walked back across the street, and my dad said, "Hey, how'd practice go?" And I told my dad at that time, at 15 years old, that I was going to coach baseball someday because of what I just experienced in a baseball practice with Coach Mercer. When you first get into coaching, and I was fortunate to be a head coach at a young age at Lincoln Trail Junior College at 23 years old. When you first get into it, you kind of get into it for the X's and O's and win. And then you start realizing that, yeah, that stuff's important, but the relationships that you have with your players are the most important thing. And so defining moments are a couple things. I've been in several of my players' weddings, which means the relationships were good, and probably the biggest defining moment outside of the games and winning championships and those type of things is when I was asked to be the godfather of one of my players' sons. So when those relationship things happen, I think those, as you get older, are the defining moments of your career. I was fortunate to, when I was young, to look at John Wooden's pyramid of success, right? And as a young coach, like, I need my own coaching philosophy, the things that are important to me, right? The culture that I want to set and the core values in your program. So I was able to write those down. And at the time I was at Lincoln Trail Junior College, so my coaching philosophy revolves around the trail. It's called the trail, a path one takes to get to a certain point or destination, right? And it's the things that are important to you as a coach, right? So if you have those where it just flows right from your mouth, right? And you can share that with the parents of your players and your program so everybody's on the same page. I think that's probably the most important thing for a young coach to do, is develop his coaching philosophy where it flows out of his mouth and everybody knows exactly where you stand as a coach. Non-negotiables on the approach to coaching would, in my opinion, would be as simple, because it is in your coaching philosophy, right? So what we ask out of our players, and our players know not to mess with these things, is hard work, loyalty, hustle, intensity, and sportsmanship, right? The three main things for what I think our players need is to be coachable, to be competitive, and to be fun to be around. Obviously, mental health is a huge issue with this day and age with everybody, let alone young players, and if we can get to them at a young age. But I think I've been in a situation, because I'm probably the poster child of anxiety and depression and those type of things, but I've overcome those type of things. But when players face that stuff, right, I know the situation they're in, and I've been able to help several of my players this day and age with their anxiety and or depression, and I don't think I would have been able to help them unless I've faced those type of things myself. The advice I would give to young coaches, right, and it's a great question, is that most young coaches this day and age think that they're going to make money right out of the gate, right? And it's a climb in the coaching profession, right? I was fortunate to understand I was going to be a coach, and if I told people my first head coaching job was for $12,000 a year, and then 10 years later I'd be raising a family by coaching baseball, right? They would look at me like, you're crazy, right? But it was a climb, right? It's a climb, and you're not getting into it for the money. You're getting into it to help young people become men and to help them win games and championships, right? So, you know, I can remember when I was telling people I wanted to be a coach, my friends would kind of laugh at me, right? And they were in the business world making all kinds of money, and then 10, 20 years down the road, they're like, I wish I would have taken the path that you took, right? Because you're sitting here raising a family, coaching baseball. I am one of those guys that never felt like I had a job, because I was fortunate to find my passion and to follow my passion. Yeah, so college coaches look for several things, right? First of all, the needs of their program is the first thing they're going to look at. So what most high school players don't understand is the needs of a program for each college changes every year. For example, we might be strong with younger catchers, for example, right? So we're not going to recruit catchers for that next year, right? So the needs of the program are the first thing that college programs look for, and those change each year for colleges. Next thing is for the kids, for the players, we're looking at their academics, right? It takes certain standards to get into college, right? I always say, get an A while you play, right? I think you can be an A or B student no matter what, as long as you sit up in front of class, shake your head a little bit harder, raise your hand a little higher, do your homework right, prepare for tests. To me, those are simple things that most kids have not learned yet, right? So they need to understand those type of things. So college coaches are looking for what type of student they are. The next thing would be baseball intangibles, right? People think that you go to that first, right? But that's obviously, we do go to that first. Baseball intangibles would be how fast you run, you know, what's your arm strength like, what your power's like, what your foot speeds like, those type of things that obviously we look for as college coaches. And then probably the most important thing is the character of the players, right? An apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? You are who you come from, right? And we talk about core values. Do they work hard? Are they loyal? Do they hustle from point A to point B? Are they good sportsmen, right? Are they passionate about what they're doing, right? These are characteristics, core values that players need to have to play at the next level, right? And let me talk about this word passion really quick. I really feel like passion's like a coat of paint. It covers up a lot of stuff, right? If there's marks on the wall, all you have to do is put a coat of paint on it and it covers up those marks, right? Passion in baseball would win 5 to 15 games that you weren't supposed to win. And if I ask people, do you love to win? Nobody does not raise their hand. Everybody loves to win. And I just said, if you do things with passion, energy, intensity, enthusiasm, it's going to win, right? And so players need to have a lot of passion and energy, right? That's a characteristic that they need to have. I'm kind of different about this, and I won't bend from this, but that saying, never too high, never too low, I really don't understand that saying, right? Because statistics tell me I'm going to be here 50 to 100 years, right? How can I not be high about that? Statistics tells me that if I'm lucky, I get to play college baseball, right? So how can I not be high about that? So we recruit people that are high about life, about baseball, those type of things. And then in this game of baseball, you do have to slow it down. So we're going to teach mechanisms to slow the game down, right? But we're not what I would call, we're not recruiting a ho-hum guy, right? Somebody that's just ho-hum, just, you know, even keeled and those type of things. So yeah, so the character of the person is very important. And I tell players this, and I don't know if I really can say this on film or not, but I guess you can edit it if you don't like it, right? But do not let your parents mess this up for you in the recruiting process, right? Do not let them mess this thing up. And for players this day and age, especially the makeup of the recruiting trail now, for players this day and age, you're not too good for any program that's recruiting you, all right? A lot of players, it's put in their heads that they're D1 players, but hey, you're not too good for anybody that's recruiting you this day and age. Recruiting tools to get to the next level. There's several of them. One is your high school coaches can help you, right? Making phone calls, evaluating you as a player. So that's one, is your high school coaches, which leads into your summer league coaches too. Well, they can help you in the recruiting process too as well. You have recruiting services, and there's several of them out there. The thing about recruiting services, I'd say, is make sure that whatever recruiting service that you are signing up for, that they're going to bat for you. They're going to work for you more than just sending an email or something in the mail to those schools, right? Third-party baseball contact. Now this one is huge, right? That's somebody like me, somebody like Jake Banwart, Adam, you, Wick. There's several third-party people that college coaches love to hear from, right? It's leaving the parent out, it's leaving the summer coach out, it's leaving the high school coach out, but it's those baseball people that are respected out there that make phone calls for you. Those are the guys that we trust them probably the most, right? Because the feelings are left out and they're going to be realistic about your ability and where you belong, right? You also have showcases. I think showcase is something you have to be careful about, because if I ask a player, how many ground balls did you get in that showcase, right? Or how many swings did you get in that showcase? And they say 5, 6, then you're spending a lot of money and not really showcasing your talents, right? So I know for sure from a fact from college coaches, I know PBR is important. I know that field level is important, and I know Twitter is important too. Outside of those, you better really look into if that recruiting service is going to bat for you, right? And then you have college camps. I think this is the most important one, is the college camps, because when I was a college coach and somebody signs up for my camp, my showcase or elite camp, and they're high school players, they are immediately telling me that I'm interested in your school, right? And so when they show up, they're telling me that, and then if they can flat out play, if they have baseball intangibles, then we become interested, really interested in them, right? So I know these things cost money, but I think the two most important ones here is the third party contact and attending college baseball camps. Most parents and most players are not realistic about what level they fit into. And like I'll go back to saying, you're not too good for anybody, especially this day and age in the college recruiting world. But you have junior colleges, and I'm a fan of junior colleges, especially with you're allowed now to go 2 years at junior college and then play 4 more years at a 4-year school, right? So that's going to become really huge now. But you have an opportunity at junior college to play right away. You have an opportunity to develop because you are playing right away. I was a head junior college coach, and as a Division II, Division III, and Division I coach, we recruited heavily from the junior college scene. I think there's a stereotype about junior colleges. They're not academically good students. Not for baseball, that's just a stereotype, I think, for football and basketball, right? Several of my players at junior college were outstanding students, just wanting the opportunity to play at a 4-year school, at a higher level, right? So junior college is a great option. Division III, I was a Division III head coach at Wilmington College, and I love this level because, first of all, there is not athletic scholarships. All the scholarships are going to be based on academic or other type of scholarships, right, outside of athletic scholarships. But this level is really pure because the kids are actually playing for what's across their chest, right? Their school and their community, right? I can tell you from I was a Division III head coach too as well, and when I left Division III, 2 of my players are playing Division I baseball out of Division III, so there was a chance to climb even from that level to the highest level, right? Division II and NAI I'd kind of lumped together. Really good baseball. Again, this day and age, and I don't like it, but it is what it is, but you have a chance to advance to Division I baseball out of Division II NAI. But they are dealing with scholarships, probably less than Division I scholarships, but it's a great level of baseball to play. And then obviously the ultimate level, I think in college is Division I. Outstanding, right? I will say this day and age too, at the Division I level, like mid-major wise, when I coach, you're losing your 5 best players because they weren't playing, they were transferring, right? This day and age, Division I's mid-majors are losing their 5 best players to go play maybe in a Power 5 conference too as well. So it has changed a little bit since I was a Division I head coach, but it's a great level to play at. Most kids want to play at that level. I think, again, going back to you're not too good for any level, and the way the makeup is now, you can advance to higher levels, playing Division III, Division II, NAI, junior college baseball. The portal. To me, it's not a great thing because it goes back to character, that we're trying to teach character. One of those character traits is loyalty, right? And so you got a chance to just get up and leave and go to another school, and as coaches, we don't like that, right? But it is what it is this day and age, right? A lot of people are going to levels of baseball and trying to advance to higher levels and can go into the portal, and it's really hurting high school kids this day and age because Division I's are going to recruit heavily out of the portal, because the reason they are going to do that is because those players are throwing up some numbers at lower levels that can play at the higher levels, right? And so they're going to be recruiting experience, right? And there's nothing more important in winning than experience on the baseball field, right? So it is what it is. I don't think it's a good thing, but it is what the life we're living now. And that's why I go back again saying, and I've said it a lot of times, you're not too good for any level to play at right now, because what is happening is colleges, higher level colleges are recruiting out of the portal now. What is BAMFAM? What does BAMFAM mean to me, right? I've been fortunate 33 years of college coaching to travel the Midwest, if not the country, in recruiting and being able to see several summer league programs. And I can tell you for a fact I would not be here if I didn't know what BAMFAM was all about. BAMFAM is all about the development of their players, and that's physically and mentally, right? The development at BAMFAM is second to nobody's, I can tell you that. And I'm very proud to be here because of that, because I think that when you're a parent and you're looking into what organization that you need to go to, the number one thing you should be thinking about is not playing time, not those type of things. It's about how is my son or daughter going to develop as a player and as a person. Yeah, the opportunities at BAMFAM are extreme, to be honest with you, right? You have everything from fall development, a fall development program, to team development program, to individual development program, to competition within the BAMFAM organization that is nonstop. It's constant, it's consistent. The mental training is also secondary to no program I've ever seen. There's a lot of mental training that goes on, whether it be through the individual, the team, or through an organizational standpoint, where we get together and develop a culture that is outstanding for the players within BAMFAM. Yeah, so the culture within the BAMFAM organization is really from taking players from where they're at to where they want to be, right? And how do we get them there, right? And that's what the culture's all set up through structure, organization, communication. Jake Banwart does an unbelievable job on culture that is really backed and supported by the whole staff here at BAMFAM. That most summer organizations, right, they do not prepare like BAMFAM does, right? They just maybe have a few practices and then play a lot of games. Well, that does not happen here, right? Our players within BAMFAM are going to be prepared to play games through our development, our everyday development, whether it's individual development, team development, or mental development, are going to be prepared to play in tournaments and become the best that they possibly can be. We need to get more people through this door to see what we are doing, right? Or out on the field to see what we're doing, right? That's how we evolve. Because like I said, the most important thing is the development of the young people, right? And it's happening here at a high level, right? And we have to get that word out and people have to understand what we're doing here because it goes back to the development of our young people. My responsibilities are the development director, and that can go two ways: financial development and then the development of the high school age kids and the teams, right? So my goal is, and then the recruiting coordinator too. So I'm here to help our players get into college, whatever the right fit is for them. So that's what I want to bring to the table, is those type of things. But through my experience, I've been fortunate. Like I've been a guy that never felt like I had a job, but I've been at the Division I level, Division II level, Division III level, played at the NAIA level, coached at the junior college level, now at the high school level. So I've been through experience at all levels of baseball, right? So I want to bring to the table, what does it take to actually play college baseball? What are the intangibles, baseball intangibles? What is the character it takes? What does it take to get done in the classroom to play at the next level? And then I want to see all of our teams succeed on the field because of the development of our players, and I want to help within that aspect. So another aspect that I'm here to help is to help develop our coaching staff, right? Through how they develop players, whether that's through fundamentals or through practice organization, right? So through my experience, that's probably what I'm known for the best, is how we develop individuals and the team, right? So I'm here to help our coaches in assisting them to become the best coach that they can be, through their practice organization, through their communication to players, and through their individual development of players.